All right. Thank you for tuning in to Dedicated to Health. I'm here with my very good friend, Ashonti Wright. She's a very intelligent, beautiful, and well spoken black woman. I'll be honest, I met Ashanti at Neomed. We're both pursuing a little bit different degrees. I'm in the Doctor of Pharmacy program. Ashanti is pursuing her medical doctorate. So it's definitely been I'll say a roller coaster since I've met her. But
No, yeah.
but Ashanti is one of the most really one of the most bright people that I've met. Like you can see Ashanti and like she'll light up the whole room as soon as she walks in. Not only that, but then she can make anybody's day way better. And that's one thing that I want to say that I've
Oh,
always
thank
admired
you.
about you.
Those are some nice words. Oh, you got me blushing. But I appreciate that. I try to give off good energy everywhere I go. So I'm glad you pick up on it. And I'm glad I could be
Yeah.
here too. I like what you're doing. This is great. This is great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, just in case somebody doesn't know anything about you,
Mhm.
I'll let you really give an introduction of yourself and really how you got to where you're at now, because I know that's really what a lot of people are trying to figure out.
Yeah. Um, I whenever someone asks me to, tell my story, I never know really what to fully include. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So there are parts of my story that may have gotten me here, may have not gotten me here. So
Mm.
a lot of time I have to dissect, what really influenced my decision today, like what got me in this chair. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I feel like that's something I always have to think about. It's what are the important details and not, so just to discern those. But for the most part, from Cleveland, born and raised in Cleveland. I went to the schools growing up, being in the suburbs of Cleveland, really, most of the major cities, I feel like. Went to Richmond Heights, and at Richmond Heights, I did a career tech program.
Mm.
So I knew very early on I wanted to go into healthcare. Just didn't know to what degree, really, like what I want to do. Nursing didn't really cross my mind. My mom was a nurse. She still is a nurse. Lots of family members that are nurses, STNAs. So I just know I wanted to do medicine to some extent because it was just fun, understood science, great. So I did the career tech program. That was 2 years, graduated. It was medical assisting, so I graduated with a certificate in that, but didn't really use it.
Mm.
From then, I was applying to schools. I really only applied to two schools. I applied to Hiram and Ohio Dominican. I didn't really think about going too far from home. It didn't really process in my mind if I should or shouldn't. Stayed local, went to Hiram College, and pursued a neuroscience major. Really great majors, really cool throughout. So it sounds harder than what it is. I feel like every year you just get better and better at learning stuff. So I think there's that. So I majored in neuroscience, actually triple minor in biology, psychology, and biomedical humanities. Right.
Mhm.
So that was at the end. But moving, throughout undergrad, at first I was thinking maybe PA school, physician assistant. And I mean, that seems faster paced because I was just really eager to start working. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time in school. I just wanted to work and like start helping people. So yeah, so I was originally a physician assistant, and then all of a sudden this opportunity came where Hiram has a pathway program with Neomed. I was like, oh, okay, I would love to do this. This is like, it fell into my lap basically because I didn't know that that program was there before I applied. But when they told me, they're like, oh, well, you need an ACT score of, I think like 27 or above, or specifically something. And I was like, okay, well,
Mm.
I don't have that. My ACT score wasn't the best. I just applied with my GPA. My GPA was better than my actual standardized testing scores. I never did good on standardized tests. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to retake my ACT junior year of college. I'm like, does that make any sense? But I was like, whatever, like this might be a good opportunity. But then I was feeling really discouraged. I was like, okay, maybe I should just go physician assistants. Let me just focus on that, focus on that. And then all of a sudden, that requirement was lifted, and I didn't have to take the ACT anymore. And I was like, okay, like God is really listening to me right now, or He's trying to really push me this direction of pursuing medicine and becoming a doctor specifically. So I was like, okay, like I'll just do it. You know what I mean? I won't think too much about it. I won't overthink it. Talk to my advisors, had an advisor, and yeah, so throughout that, I applied senior year, interviewed, got in, and now we're at Neomed, and I got to meet you. So that's how I got there. Like that's my journey to
Yeah.
this position.
And I want to say I appreciate you sharing that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can catch us August 25th. We got the House of the Clubs. Where we at, Frank?
Man, we at the Glenmore Country Club in North Canton, Ohio, man.
You already know Lambsack gonna be in the building stepping like we step, man.
Be there, be square. Tickets on sale now.
Artcloth.com.
All right. So, like, what kind of support would you say that somebody would need to really get to where you're at? And what advice would you have for somebody if they don't necessarily have that same type of support system?
That's a good question. Finding people who support you can be really hard, right? Because you assume that everyone's going through their own things. Like, how can you support me? And sometimes you don't even know how we need to be supported. So there's a whole process for that, and there's different types of support. There's not just one. You know, your one person doesn't have to be your end all be all emotional, physical, family, academic support, right? You can have different people for different things, right? So, you know, growing up, my love for learning and academic support came from my teachers more so, not my household. My parents always knew I was doing good in school. They just knew. So I never talked to them about school stuff. They just knew that, oh, she's good. She's good. I don't have to check in, you know, but I was checking with my teachers. You know, I was checking in with myself as well, because I am my own support system as well. So I will say teacher, your school, academic support, it helps you grow, but it helps you grow in that area, specifically looking at career things. Family support's another one that's super important. And I kind of want to stress it's the people that you see every single day in your household, right? So having that constant reminder of people that are there to support you makes it better and makes you feel like you're not alone, right? Versus, oh, like if your grandma's your main supporter, but she doesn't live with you, well, you feel a bit more alone when you're in the household and you don't see that person, right? So you don't feel as supported. And that's a huge thing. It's not feeling like you're supported. It can lead to you not pursuing or not being able to achieve your best you know?
Yeah.
So family support's a huge one, specifically your parents, if you're in a two-parent household, whoever your parents are and how your dynamics are, seeing that person every day, checking in with them. This is how I'm feeling. This is what's going on. This is what's going on in life specifically, not academics, but life lessons, wisdom. I feel like that's a huge support area that we need to grow and to keep achieving things and keep making strides in your life, right? And even siblings, you know, making sure you have a different view. So having your siblings as supporters, you know, someone to come see you and talk to you. And I think we forget supporting that inner child, supporting the fun side of things, making sure you're able to relax. Like, I feel like siblings come into play there, right?
Yeah.
You can go kick it with them, you know what I mean? Have fun with them. That's a different type of support that we don't really realize that we need from our families, you know? And that can all be in your household. And it makes, if you feel less alone when you can see that every day you come home from school or you wake up every day and you see these people there and you know you have a team, you know, when you take on the world. Another form of support would be mentorship, right? So it's taking a step further from the counselors that you have at school, from the teachers you have at school, right? This a mentorship, any type of mentee mentor relationship. It's a common goal in mind, right? Is this, as a mentee, this is where I want to be, right? I came ready. This is what I want to do in life. I just don't know how to get there, right? A mentor is specifically going to look at you, your specific situation, look at you as an individual and not like every other classmate you may have in school, and look at you and see, what are your gaps? What do you need to work on? What do you need to, you know, chill on? You don't have to do so much in that. A mentor will be very straight up with you and give you the real about, is this the field for you as well? And I think that's also helpful, is that as much as we can reach for the stars, we also have to be realistic about how we do that, or if that's attainable for us. And it's not that you're not capable, but can you maximize opportunities on a different skill set that you have, right? And I think that's a huge thing, is being realistic and knowing what you can achieve versus what you can work harder to achieve versus this is not really something that I need to achieve. I can maximize something else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I feel like all of those were super important. And just lastly, I would really say your self-support. You know what I mean? You don't think, sometimes you're like, okay, well, all I got is myself. But you should have a team. But also, you need to have the support of yourself and trust yourself, right? So a lot of the time, we can feel insecure because we don't know what to do or who do we ask. Ask yourself, what would you do? And sometimes it takes maybe research, maybe takes you critical thinking or reflecting on your life. So having that self support also creates growth because it helps you trust your gut, right? Your intuition. I know what I can achieve. I know what I can achieve. Someone else may not be able to tell you that, but you can tell yourself that, and it becomes a lot more meaningful when you can tell yourself and be secure in yourself. So I feel like that's the type of support that I really didn't understand until I got to med school, actually, and I wish I would have had that sooner. Because if I felt more secure, I probably would have taken other opportunities, and I would have said yes to other opportunities instead of second guessing myself and not trusting what I could do or how far can I really reach, towards the stars and stuff.
Yeah, I think that self support really it really ties into a lot of different aspects of not only trying to achieve a goal or really um anything professional, but I feel like self support really ties into overall life. And when it comes to self support, it really kind of pushes me to really want to ask more about mental health.